Hey everyone, welcome. I'm gonna let it be a couple of more minutes to make sure that everyone gets settled, and then we'll get started. Oh, forgot to turn on my video. Hey. Okay, so we're gonna get started here in 30 seconds. I want to give it 5 minutes past. I promise you I won't hold you for the full hour, but I'm gonna show some pretty cool stuff here today, so make sure you stick around. Okay, let's get started. It's 5 minutes past. First of all, welcome everyone. I'm super happy that you're here. This is the first of the founder sessions. Everyone who bought the 5-minute leader, a lot of the phone calls I've been doing with people and the people I've been advising and coaching, they all love the 5-minute leader. They all have given amazing reviews actually, and some feedback improvements as well. With that said, I noticed a trend where some people are really good at reading something and educating yourself, but it doesn't stick. So I decided to do these series in order to make it stick, leveraging AI, because I love AI, I love everything it can do, so why not leverage it for the 5-minute leader? I want to be super clear though. Like I said, we won't use the full hour, but I hate it when I sit on a webinar and they all pretend that they're not selling something to you and then they ambush you minute 55. So don't worry, I will give you what I'm showing. There is no catch. I will drop it in the chat later on today or later on in this webinar. But first, I want to start by apologizing for changing the time 2 times, and I didn't know how many people would show up because of that. First one was a real tech issue. We did not get Riverside to work properly. The second time, I ended up in the ER having to do a cardioversion, which is basically when they sap your heart and reset it. So I think that was a pretty good excuse for why I canceled. Now I'm committed to doing, I think we have at least 6 of them planned here going forward. So here's the deal. I'm going to teach you something useful in the next half hour. Then I'm going to do something I have not done live before. And every time I demo something in AI, there's always this AI demo ghost, but I'm going to do my best. We're going to take a real meeting transcript. We're going to upload it into AI. We're going to drop the specific prompt and skills that comes with this that I will give you later today that are all based on the 5-minute leader and sort of the most common things that I keep hearing about. And it's going to be very delegation focused. I'm going to do this live on the call. We'll see how it scores it. And then you're going to see exactly what words that mattered in that transcript, in that meeting between the CEO and his staff. And then at the very end, I'm going to invite you to, a small number of you, into a call with me. That is basically the offer. I am telling you now. You can relax for the rest of the time. That's all I'm going to do. Even if you never take the call with me, again, you are going to leave with the AI tools here. If people are not in this webinar, I don't give them the tool afterwards. So you have to come at, well, sorry, I will do it for the first one, but I will not do it going forward. And the reason is I want to also in the future start doing Q&A sessions as part of these webinar series. So that is my promise to you. If that all sounds fair, let's jump into it. So a few weeks ago, it's actually a month ago now, I was on a call with a founder, super sharp guy. He runs a manufacturing company up in Idaho. And he said something that I haven't been able to stop thinking about. He said that when you think you have delegated something and it turns out you didn't even come close to delegating it. So let's break that down. He thought that work was basically off his plate. It wasn't. It really wasn't. It came back, and it always keeps coming back to this guy. And he could not figure out why, because in his head, he delegated it. He remembered the conversation. He said it. It was heard. He think it was understood. he was sure that he handed it off to someone else. And here is what I learned from scaling a company. We were inception to 150 and then having a successful exit. The gap between I delegate this and I actually delegated this is invisible to most people, and it is a gap. You don't see it. And I'm going to tell you a story later on how I did something super embarrassing to figure that out. But the point is, you cannot see it yourself if you don't create the awareness. And the 5-minute leader and the delegation protocol is really built around this. You feel like delegating, it's just not happening. So I'm going to teach you how to make that gap visible. I'm going to show you how AI listens to this, or how I've trained AI to listen for this. And you're going to hear the truth about it if you run this on your own meetings. I will, like I said, I'll do a live demo shortly. So stay for that part. And it is the part that tend to make people a little bit uncomfortable. But I can tell you this, it is way more comfortable having an AI do it between you and them. It's not another human, it's an AI, compared to someone else giving you this feedback. So I would argue it's the way better of the two. Let me describe how your week typically look. And if you are good at your job, so everything, then everything typically ends up with you. Decisions, clarifications, exceptions, the thing that just need to have a quick review, a quick check. And often problems with your team, or problems that teams usually can handle by themselves, they don't, because they have been conditioned and trained that you are the smart one and you have all the answers. So it's way cheaper for them and simpler to just come to you. And instead of executing, it lands on your desk because it sits in your head. And when it only lives in your head, people will always continue to escalate. And it's not because they are weak, it's not because they can't do it, it's because it's the safest move for them, especially if you're the owner of your own company. And the cost of getting this wrong while you're watching sort of what's going on around you is that you are wasting a lot of time on things that is not moving the business forward. And that's why they keep, and it's simple for them, they keep asking you, but you're not moving forward your business. So you tell the self that the story that you are delegating, back to what I said, most people think they are, it's often a blind spot, it was a blind spot for me. And you had the meeting, you assigned the thing, but the question is what actually sits with the other person. So I'm going to ask you, be honest with yourself. If you recorded your last leadership meeting and I graded it, you showed it to me, what do you think would happen? What is it that we would pick up on? And we don't know what we're saying always because we're busy with talking. And it's not only that, you don't always validate it either. And sometimes when you end up in one-on-ones, you spend more time and surfacing the problem or just collecting a status. And then what do you think the score would be? And I have done this now with a few people that I'm working with, and they are like, I'm going to score a 9 out of 10 on delegation. I was like, great, give me the latest meetings and let's do it together. And 4 or 5 is the average for people who think it's a 9. With that said, I do meet a few people that are a 9. I'll give it to them, and they have incorporated the protocols, and it comes natural for them. So most founders, when they hear the question, they actually go quiet, and they don't want to they don't know what to say because they don't know. And they haven't really sat with their own sort of leadership measured. I mean, they have sat with revenue, they have sat with churn measurement, pipeline measurements, but never really an actual score of how they are actually performing at delegation. And the thing that this is the thing that is the reason why many of your companies or departments are not growing. Because if you're not growing people or growing yourself, the organization will not grow either. And the opposite is also true. but because if you are growing people, the organization will be growing. Okay, so are there smaller versions of this hiding inside of your language? They're often about 15 words that I have found or heard over and over and over again. I've also asked a few of the people I worked with that are using these AI tools to dump in years of transcripts from their meetings to count them. And yeah, these words come up often. Most people have these words and some variations of them. But basically, they sound super professional, they are reasonable, but they quietly blur and trigger that next round of clarification that is needed. And you're probably using 5, 10 of them without knowing. I was for sure using all 15. I'll take that on me. I'll explain how I got to it. But I will show you a couple of today, and I will run this as a real example, and you'll see exactly what I mean. And since you bought the 5-minute leader, you have access to a lot of this already because it is in the Words That Matters document. Okay, so let's start getting into a little bit more details around this. I want to be super clear about the stakes because this is not about being organized. Every hour work that routes back to you is time you're not spending on the things you should be doing. And what is worse, that those hours are the exact thing that caps their company. And the companies do not stall because the founder runs out of effort. They stall because everything still has to pass through one person or department. It usually is one person. And that person becomes the bottleneck or the ceiling. And you can't really scale a bottleneck, but you can widen it. So let me go through of how we actually fix this. So first I will go through theory here, and then I will show you the AI agent. So you all bought the 5-minute leader. You know the 4 protocols. If you don't, I highly encourage you to read it. I didn't put this together for no reason. I've been coaching and mentoring people for 10, 15 years. The patterns are super clear for me. The leaders that nail these see massive impact in their organization. And if they don't really try to perfect these 4, they will struggle. I'm going to teach you here how you can also grade them manually a little bit. So let me walk through them before we go into the AI, because this is actually what I do. I like to quantify everything. And we're also going to talk about, there are really 3 types of meetings. I'll come back to this a little bit later. But there are basically status meetings, decision meetings, and development meetings. And depending on how you run these protocols, you have to run them a little bit differently. But hold that thought for now, and then it matters more when we look at the actual score. Okay, first protocol, delegation. The single question that AI asks is basically, did you hand off the outcome or did you dictate a task? Sounds simple, right? So here's what most leaders say. You can pull the numbers for the board deck and send them to me by Thursday. And that feels like a delegation. Is not. You just gave yourself a deadline, a review step, and you basically open the loop. You don't know when this is going to get done. So the work actually sticks with you, and you're the one that now holds the outcome and the results of this. So how would I say it differently? You own the board meeting numbers. The outcome is a deck the board trusts without me checking it. You decide what goes in. If you are stuck, you can come to me with a recommendation, not a question. And can you hear the difference? So in the first one, the work comes back to you. And in the second one, it cannot, because you just told them you come with the recommendation. And this is what I mean with you handed off the delegated the outcome, and the decision right is with them. So if we now go to protocol number 2, the 101, so AI flags every handoff where you kept the outcome. That is, So basically, yeah, so what I wanted to say, sorry, I forgot to say this. Delegation, again, to summarize it, is AI will look for ways if you have delegated the outcome instead of the task. Super important now that you're listening to the 101. So in the 101, which is protocol number 2, here is the number that surprises almost everyone. And in a real one-on-one, the leader is silent. About 70% of the time, actually. And most of one-on-ones are completely the opposite. It feels like this webinar. It's basically me talking all the time. It's the leader talking all the time. And the leader who talks the whole time, they are collecting status updates and they give a few instructions and then they call it a one-on-one. That is not a one-on-one. That is a stand-up with one person. And you just happen to do a bunch of stand-ups every week. So what AI measures is talk time. And if you're doing most of the talking and if the problems are not surfacing, are they then hiding? And are you doing everything you can to solicit the problem and find the signals in what your employee is saying in order for them to be able to get the outcome you're looking for? So a real one-on-one, that will surface the thing that the person has, how do we say, the person have not yet said. So the grade is, did the problem come out to the surface? Or did you just collect a report? Collecting a report, not a good thing. Remember, you don't want to have a bunch of one-on-ones stand up every single week. Just doesn't scale. Okay, protocol number 3, accountability. This one is simple and again, a little bit brutal. When a standard was not met in the meeting, did you hold the line or did you back off? Backing off sounds like understand. And we as humans, we always want to be nice and we want to show that people are heard and all those things. So let me give you 2 examples. First one is, no worries, let us push it out to the next week. You feel kind, you feel like you did them a service, but that is the most freaking expensive thing a leader can say, because every time you back off from a standard, you teach the whole team that that standard is an option. It's not. And AI will catch that moment for you. So yes, you should think about it in the moment, but when you use AI afterwards, it will slowly start teaching you how to do the handoff properly, holding them accountable. Next protocol, rhythm. Okay, so protocol number 4. Does work move on a predictable cadence, or does it move when you happen to chase it or have time to chase it? So AI looks for whether the meeting referenced a standing rhythm or a known cadence. Think of it like an agenda or a pattern. And also when you're having them. Remember, that's the beautiful thing with meeting transcript these days. It knows when you had the meeting, how often you have it, who are you having it with, and so on. I don't want to say the number 1 thing to everything, but I hear myself say this every week when I'm advising leaders. Never skip on the one-on-ones and keep the rhythm in your meetings, clear agenda, clear outcomes, not task delegation. So reactive rhythm means that you're on the clock, right? But it's how you do it. That's what will scale. Okay, dead words. This is where we now take the 4 protocols, right? And we take the dead words in and we combine it with AI. And now comes the cool part. So the language layer, I call them dead words. You have the document. I really hope you read them, and I really hope you listen to them. I really, really hope you listen to other leaders in the organization when they use them. It's a great coaching feedback opportunity as well. And words that sound like leadership, they often create confusion. So let me tell you of how I screw this up. And I know this is getting recorded. I hope I don't get to hear about this afterwards. So at Archilles, we were around 30, 40 people. That's when I felt like the whole thing started scaling so fast that I couldn't really keep up and be there for the team all the time. So I basically started losing control on execution. And in the beginning, I blamed the team. And then one day I asked my VP of Eng, I don't want to say the name, why a product feature and an integration that was highly requested by our lead client, why it wasn't getting started. And I remember him looking at me like, huh? And then at the time, we were actually recording our meetings, but we didn't have AI transcripts at the time. But I went back and I listened to it. And it was something like, I didn't know that this was assigned to me. You asked me to think about starting it. And when I went back and I listened to this, I literally said, we should probably start thinking about the product integration soon. And should probably start thinking soon. So yeah, no shit, it didn't get done. Okay, so that one costed us about 3 weeks of work. It probably costed us $80,000 to $100,000. A frustrated client, delayed revenue, and I remember walking out of that meeting feeling like, whoa, yay, it's on, it's happening. And what really happened was nothing. And now I did something I'm not proud of. I had my EA. She's amazing, by the way. Still talk to her these days. She has another company. But basically, I had her follow me around in every single meeting and help me identify when I wasn't clear. And that was actually how Dead Words started. And then I allowed her to do dead word bingo and say bingo out loud in the room when I had 5 of them. And it feels stupid. I'm not saying you're supposed to do this, but it worked for me, because if I get instant feedback in the moment when I'm using dead words, or I am reacting to someone else's emotional state, or whatever happens, that's where I have the true learning, and it's instant feedback, instant learning. And now you don't need an AI. You can literally have AI run this as a standard scheduler every single day, every single meeting, the count, plot it in a graph, and you can literally see your number of dead words falling, and all the protocols become so much easier. In the beginning, I was at 16 dead words per meeting, probably. Yeah, not proud of that one. So they all fall into basically 3 different buckets. It's ownership killers that hide who we need, someone should, deadline ghosts that hide when you say soon as possible, when you get a chance, and then clarity dodgers that hide what done looks like, basically. Take a look at this, think about this, I trust that you will figure it out. AI counts all of them and all the variations of them. Really interesting awareness. And the most common one is about 15. That's the ones I've included. With that said, I strongly recommend you all have my phone number or email. You can all shoot them to me. If you have dead words that you are using, I'm collecting them, I'm kind of fascinated by them, please send them to me. And you can also drop them in the chat already now if you have some idea. But send them afterwards, and then I'll do everything I can to make sure they're included in the future versions. Almost at the demo time. The demo is short, but it's kind of cool. Okay, so now that you have sort of the 3 meeting types, so we have a status meeting. It's graded on whether it stayed short, it surfaced blockers, it got into problem solving, and whether that should have been offline. A decision meeting is graded on whether a decision actually got made and owned, or it got deferred to you. A development meeting is more than one-on-one. It grades you on the 70% silence and a few other things. And then run the wrong grade on the wrong meeting, and you will misread yourself. So AI knows how to sort these and where to do it. It's pretty clear if it's you and another person, it's most likely a one-on-one. Help AI though and say, hey, I had this one-on-one transcript. I would love to get your feedback on it, of how I scored on it. So help it a little bit. It's going to get smarter over time. And I won't commit to this yet, but I will also make an online version of a skill. For those of you who knows that, how a skill works, I will be putting that out there as well. So I think we're getting to the demo part. Because AI, you never know about internet, and you never know if the data center is up or not up. I have made a pre-cooking show here with something. But basically what you do is you take the demo transcript, or the reason why I had to clean up the names here. So not everyone's real name is basically here. And then here is the prompt that I will be giving to you in the chat shortly. What you can also do is you can take the prompt and the 5-minute leader and words that matters or 5-minute multiplier or whatever you have and put it into the same project. In this case, I'm running it in an incognito mode inside of Claude. I highly recommend everyone to set up a project and drop it in there and then have it automatically synchronize against your note taker, if it's Fathom, Otter, Granola, whatever it is. Put it up as a scheduler and pull it down daily. If you have trouble with all of those things I just said, ping me. I have a couple of guides that can help you. It just takes too much time to do it here. So all I did is drop in the transcript. I dropped in the prompt that I'm giving you here shortly. And again, in the future, it will be a skill. One thing you should know, and I put this in the bottom here, is that if you see certain names, so just remember Alex is the CEO, and he's the meeting of leaders. That's the one thing you have to remember. Everyone else's names really don't matter. Okay, so here is how all the things it scored you on. So first of all, delegation, accountability, the 101. So basically it scores you high level on the protocols, and then it goes into every single protocol, and it gives you examples. So here, 7 out of 10 in delegation. That's really good. And what that often means, it's going to be a lower in accountability, because if you're really clear with delegating the outcome, you usually feel like you have to soften up the accountability part. I'm going to get to that. Okay. Marcus, I need you to own the annual prepay program end-to-end live in the CRM. And the price sheet is signed off and the sales team have been briefed all by Thursday at noon, and so on and so on. So you can see it's a very clear delegation. Development, again, now it's scoring it. So what are you struggling with on your side? So you can, even if it's this is a team meeting transcript, it will still look at things as to, are you helping further your team and in their development, even if the 101 is obviously going to be different if you had a 101 transcript. But it still will show how to sort of coach and ask questions rather than, and then how much you are talking versus the other person talking. Okay, accountability. Here is a little lower. It was Tuesday. What happened? Then the deadline mattered too, Friday at 10, I'm holding you to it, and if it slipped again, I want to know Thursday night. So the protocol executed cleanly, however, no worries, let's just push the target review to the next week and see where we land. So letting them off the hook, not good, setting the standard for everyone else. And then the rhythm of the meeting, keep me posted of any moments, I follow up on Friday, let's circle back, all those things are measured as well. Okay, what did the leader did right? Will also be we kind of covered some of these, but I'm going to go into dead words because here is where it really matters. 16 hits, 7 ghost tasks. I'll explain what the ghost tasks are again a little bit in details, but accountability killer. Okay, look, I know it's been a tough month with the pricing changing, landing mid-quarter, so no worries. Let's just push the target to next week and see where it lands. Again, not very vague, yeah, and giving a lot of things for interpretation. Deadline ghost, plague, vague commitment accepted. Can you try to get the updated proposal out to both accounts soon? ASAP, soon. ASAP would be great, honestly. So is it soon or is it as soon as possible? As soon as possible for me is probably in the next 5 minutes, but soon is a week. So how do I know which is which? And then, yeah, I'll take care of it. is, okay, take care of it when? Again, there's no clear, like, by Thursday at this time, you will have got these deliverables. You will hear from me on Wednesday if I'm stuck on something, and so on and so on. So these words makes a massive difference. I'll take care of it. Ownership and take back. Let me think about who we should loop in. Maybe I'll reach out to the vendor myself. I know their COO from the Partnership Summit. Let's circle back on that one this week. What you basically did is delegate to yourself. So you're delegating to someone else, and then you take it back, and there's no ownership, just because you can. Instead of, I will introduce you to the CEO or COO of the other company, and I need you to contact him, or you have to contact him, I want you to, no later than by tomorrow. Or when he replies on the text message, you have to make sure you reply within the next 30 minutes. That shows that you're eager to have a conversation with him, and so on and so on. Let's see here. The most expensive moments. No worries. Let's just push the target review to next week and see where that lands. Again, accountability is so freaking important. You know what you want to get done. And sure, people are busy, but there are so many organizations and leaders with people in hamster wheels that aren't really connected to the actual tires of the car or of the vehicle. And as a result, they're spinning like crazy, but there's no forward momentum. I meet them all the time. I won't name names here, but yeah, just daily conversations with everyone. Okay, so then it proposes things you can fix and so on. Again, you can see from something of a simple transcript, imagine you running a prompt like this over the 10 meetings you have every single day. Imagine what will come back as a lesson learned. Imagine you watching your scores slowly increase over time because you're becoming a more effective leader. Okay, so that's what we did. We scored a real meeting. Let's see here. Where was I? Here. Oh, slide 4. Yes, slide 14. Okay. So I do this myself. I do this in my internal meetings. I have also developed a skill for when I'm advising and coaching people, depending on what I'm coaching them on. I want instant feedback. I record all my meetings. I take all the transcripts. I'll probably even develop a skill and a prompt that rates me at delivering more effective webinars as this series continues. I want you to run these in your own meetings. Trust me, it works. You just have to understand what the gap is. Don't get nitpicking on the details. AI will miss things. They will be out of context, all those things, right? We're looking for the trajectory. How many dead words? How are you How are you using basically all the protocols in your meetings? And the tool doesn't close the gap for everyone. And seeing a blind spot is obviously different from doing something about it. I had my EA follow me around for weeks and literally helping me become effective. And I kind of coached myself through her. You are inside of it, you're reading your own score, and this will lead to massive awareness, especially if you're running a company. And there's a lot of willpower here. Most people that buy something online, they read it and they never try to implement it. Sadly, it's the majority. Hopefully the people that are here today, you are not that majority. You're the people that I want to see a difference. Like I said, I've watched hundreds of founders slip back into their old pattern, and they try something and they do the change for a while, but they don't really stick with it more than just a few weeks. This works. Like, I promise you, these works. Like, they are just 4 protocols for a reason, because they work. And I tried them, and I have coached and mentored and advised so many other people to use them. If you just stick with it, they work, I promise. And at the same time, as I said, the majority will buy something and they will read it, they will try it, but they won't stick with it. The people that stick with it, I get text messages every week or people reaching out on Instagram or Facebook and LinkedIn and telling me stories when they use them, and then they're so freaking proud of themselves that they stuck with it. And the outcomes they're getting are phenomenal. Okay, I said this in the beginning. So here is the two things where if you really want to make this happen, if you really want to make a difference now and you're frustrated and you say, let's go. The first one is the most relevant for you. I run an executive AI program. This is basically where we install not only protocols, but we teach us about skills, about how to leverage AI everywhere as a leader in a company, going from reactive to proactive, more in an agentic way. We build a lot of these things into skills, leadership. You can then teach other leaders how to use it. We teach you, I mean, even if you say, I'm not technical, I don't know how to vibe code, we'll teach you even that. We teach you how to basically set up agents that are running inside of the different teams, and you can scale your company this way as well. And actually, the 5-minute leader comes in quite a lot in that as well. The second thing I run is a CEO mastermind. It's the same protocols, it's a little different mechanism. So instead of building sort of your operating system for you as an operator, you sit in a room with other founders running companies of your size. Some companies we have in there are early revenue. Some are doing 50 million plus. It's very, very diverse group of people. We run, I actually have multiple of these. These are very much radical candor. So as much as AI give you the feedback here, the CEO mastermind will hold you accountable to it, because you have other CEOs who will call you on your BS. And if you're not, if you really want to make it stick, the CEO mastermind is the one that counts. I'm not going to pitch you the details here. I just wanted to show you briefly some of the options that you have. All I'm asking for is give me a call. I talk to people every single day that have bought the 5-minute leader. I hear their war stories. I hear their scars. I hear their muscles they're building. I try to give everyone advice on the call. If you're not the right fit for what I'm offering here, perfectly fine, no pressure. But that's what the call is for. It's for me to give back. One of my missions in life is I want to help 10,000 entrepreneurs. If that is through books, podcasts, whatever I'm writing, whatever I'm doing, I love it. I love it. Just before this call, I was on an amazing call with a CTO, a fractional CTO, who is doing amazing work at large companies, like large companies. And we had a fascinating conversation about the delegation and accountability protocol and how to do transformation. Okay, I will actually just drop this into the chat right now. Let's see here. Here is the link. This is a V1 that is externalized. If you come back to this document at a later stage, give me a couple of days, I will have expanded this even further with it asking a few input questions before you actually start this specific thing. I will not remove this link. You can keep it. It is the prompt that I was using. Take the transcript and the most simplest form. Don't do incognito, do a project. Take the transcript, take the prompt, and then I will in this document also give you the skill. So turn this into a skill and a scheduler that is a little bit more intelligent, but I wanted to start with something today so you at least can start to experiment with it. And also put in the 5-minute leader. You all have access to a PDF. You all have access to Words That Matters, and some of you also have access to the 5-minute multiplier. And put them all in there, all in the same context window, all in the same, you can use ChatGPT, you can use Claude, you can use Gemini, many others. report back to me if things are not working. If you get an error or something, let me know. Email me. I can even, you can do like this. I can put contact, T is not working, at leadersadapt.com. Email me, and I will keep improving it because I want to give value. I want to make sure that the protocols live because they work, and I want to change the trend that most people that buy something online are actually never implementing it. Really frustrates me because that's not how we get to 10,000 entrepreneurs that have been helped. Here, I just shared it with you. Bring it into real meeting, report back how things are working. I will save the URL because there will be more and more protocols coming in there and more of the skills and the prompts, and I will keep expanding it as this webinar series goes on. The reason why I won't take questions here is I'm actually in Europe at the moment. It's kind of late, and please send them afterwards, though, if you have specific questions. And if you feel like you want to learn more about AI, we run this program that is amazing. You can read about it on my website. If you're a CEO or a founder and you want to join me there, let me know. Okay, we did get a question. Are there any tools or resources you would recommend? Right now, Cowork, Claude Cowork. Learn that. Use Cowork, not just the projects. Use the desktop version. Use Fable. They just released it again. Fable is back. It is freaking amazing, and I use it. Right now, I have 3 licenses because I suspect that they will remove the ability to use it fully with your flat subscriptions. I have 3 $200 licenses right now and 3 computers that are running 24/7 on Fable, and I'm gonna abuse that too. I think it's early next week. They're basically gonna make the change. I don't want to see that happen. So I'm using it now. I was stuck in certain things for quite some time, and then all of a sudden Fable came back and it solved my problems here yesterday. So I'm super happy. But it's just the beginning. Learn AI. We run the AI program we run are only for executives actually, but the amount of things I've seen people do through that. But Cowork, beautiful. I think Granola, always make sure you are recording your transcripts everywhere, build up your company brain. And then number 3, what would be number 3 for me right now? It's more a concept. I'm in love with the concept of journaling. So journal every single day so AI understand context, how you think, what you like, what you dislike, what your ambitions are. Teach AI to become it's a fluff word, but your digital twin. The more you do that, combined with super powerful engines like Fable inside of Claude, the more amazing outcomes you will have. So try to journal, but journal to AI. And the number 1 hack there is, hey, what do you need to know about me to be able to produce better results for me? So I have it asking me 3 questions every single day. I record myself 24/7. Basically, if I'm in front of a computer or in my room at home, I record the room, every phone call I'm on, like everything is just recorded all the time. And then in the end of the day, I have my own little coach that advises me on how my meetings are going, and it learns about me. I'm using other tools as well. I don't want to recommend them here because you have to be a little nerdy to use them. I don't think AI is Sentinel yet, but we are probably a few years out. It's getting kind of interesting. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining. This is the first of many series. I want to turn most of the things that I am preaching into something that is actionable, because if we are growing and we have growing people around us, we create growing companies and growing organizations, and the opposite is also true. That is my motto. And remember, life is long if you know how to use it. So start using it, everyone. Okay, thank you. Bye.